We are live. Welcome to Rice TVX and the latest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Today is January the 14th in the year 2022. This is the newest episode of Crypto Rewind. As usual, I am joined by my co-host, Satoshi Sean. And our guest this week is Amina Motala. Oh yeah, and we are live streaming on both Rice TVX and Rice TVX2. Rice TVX2 is that side backup channel, so make sure you are subscribed to both. Make sure you smash that like button. And before we begin, a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVX. You can find information in the video description for Monarch Presearch and BitSwap DEX.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
I will have links down below for both Satoshi Sean's channel and Amina Motala's channel, so make sure you're checking out both channels, subscribing to both as well, and supporting them. And as much as I love cryptocurrencies, I am a strong proponent of precious metals. If you want to take advantage and get a free ½ ounce of silver, you can do so by taking advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100, use the promo code RICE, or use the promo code Satoshi Sean if you want to support his channel or my channel. You get a free ½ ounce of silver. And again, it's another way to look out and support our channels. And here's how you can do so. If you are looking to purchase and invest in precious metals, gold and silver are both good safe haven assets to hedge against the financial collapse we are experiencing. Check out Money Metals Exchange. I partnered up with them and you can get a free ½ ounce of silver. Visit moneymetals.com, be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you joining us on tonight's episode of Crypto Rewind, covering the last week in crypto. And there has been so many different various news stories. We can only cover the ones that really kind of got our attention, or I should say, got my attention the most. And we will be sharing those. The links for everything we talk about is going to be below in the video description. And as you can see right here, I'm screen sharing with Satoshi Sean's YouTube channel. So make sure you head over there. It's linked down below. What's going on, my friend? You got to unmute yourself. That helps.
There we go.
Yeah, it totally
I always
helps.
forget that, man. That's going okay, man. How you doing?
Doing well, man. For anybody who follows you on Facebook and saw your post about you feeling deathly ill, will you let everybody know what your status is?
I feel deathly ill. I feel like I'm pregnant. Every morning I wake up and I'm sick. And then I feel sick all day, debilitatingly. And then in the afternoon, I feel a little better. Evening, I'm all right. And then wake up and do it again the next day. So
you
I'm tired of it.
You feel like you could be pregnant?
I have morning sickness every day for like 10 days.
And before we started the live stream, I was saying that maybe what had happened to Eric Cartman in that documentary show that we know as South Park, where he had a satellite unit that was stuck inside of his anus by some extraterrestrial beings from outside space. Do you think that's a possibility just at all? What could have particularly happened?
Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
But you promised me that if satellites shoot out of your butt, you're going to let me know, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And get some pictures, right?
Sure.
We got to get video proof.
You know, it's the first episode of South Park. That was the first episode.
That was the very first official one?
That was the first episode, yeah.
Well, the first technical one was a Christmas card that was Santa Claus fighting Jesus, I believe.
This is the first episode.
Right.
South Park was season 1 episode. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah, it always surprises me when I go back to watch it.
It comes full circle, man, and here we are. Maybe you have a satellite in your anus.
Did you watch
your anus?
Yes, that's no one ever made that joke for. Did you see the new South Park special?
No, I haven't. Is this the one about the bananas or about the vacations?
No, the post
bananas.
The post vid sickness, the post that.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Special.
I'll check it out.
It's all about crypto.
Sweet.
Yeah, Butters is in an insane asylum because he can get anyone to invest in NFTs.
Yeah, I've heard something. Maybe you mentioned
it's hilarious.
You might have mentioned it. I gotta check it out.
All right. I think it's cool that's like right. It's in the zeitgeist. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I totally agree. So we're gonna go ahead real quick and bring in our guest. She has a YouTube channel. She has a web page. Going to be linked down below. Usually we keep these episodes to about an hour. Again, there's so much crypto news we couldn't really cover it all, so I tried to find the articles that I felt would give us the best quality conversation. So we welcome, without further ado, Miss Amina Motala to the show. How you doing?
Hey, Chris. I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
Doing good. Good seeing you.
Nice to see you too. Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you for asking.
She was extremely concerned about Sean and wanted to make sure Sean was all right. So
yes, she was. I don't know about kombucha tea. I've been trying like weird stuff. I've drank like a buttload of apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
I've drank a lot of like ginger stuff, teas.
Yeah, that's good. When you say a buttload of apple cider vinegar, you don't want to take too much too, right?
I drink 4 tablespoons a day.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 in the early, and then 2 in the evening.
That's about the recommended.
Yeah.
What they say to take. So that totally fits in.
Hey, that's my channel.
No, it is, and I want to let people know that you like myself are not a crypto-centric channel. That you cover a lot of freedom-oriented stuff. You are a resident of communist Canada, but you're currently outside of the walls, and so you covered a lot.
You're traveling everywhere. You're living life, man.
Yeah, well, I'm living life. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I am in Florida. I don't mind saying that. It's everywhere in my social media. So I am down in Florida. But I haven't been traveling too much outside of that. Just was in Whistler earlier last year, and in Florida again, and then back in Florida again in the fall. So spring and fall. And still here.
Since like June, I've seen you 4 times.
Yeah.
3 in Miami, or no, 3 times, all of which were in Miami.
Yeah. And again,
we're gonna see each other again this coming week on the 17th through 19th for the North American Bitcoin Conference. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to let people know, if they're going to happen to be out at the conference or live in the Miami area, we're going to be attending an event on Monday the 17th. It is for Washington Elite. They're doing an award ceremony and charity gala. We went to this in January of 2020, and it was at the Versace Mansion, and they're doing this again in South Beach. I love the mansion. I know you're a big fan of the mansion, so
it was great. I mean, it's not something I've ever done before, so this whole crypto journey just lends so many adventures and experiences, and I'm all for that.
So you didn't go to this in January of 2020?
I did. I was there. So
I thought you were.
Funny enough, I'm going to say it out loud publicly. When I was there, I was launching for Corona, the beer. So
the beer company were launching games.
That's right, Corona Games. So I was doing the launch for them at that conference. And it was at South Beach at Bruce Porter's event. The first night we arrived. So yeah, and of course, right after Corona, the virus hit. So that ended that pretty quick.
Yeah.
I
I definitely
was there too. I loved it. It was lots of fun. I didn't hang out with anybody. I was kind of kept to myself, but
What are you talking about?
I just didn't want to tell you I was there. You didn't want to be sad.
I don't think I would.
Just hung out with different people,
Yeah.
Different circles.
You see this what's cool about this place, without going into like a long thing. This is where old man Versace was murdered by his lover. So it's so beautiful inside.
It really is.
It's an amazing experience. So I would definitely encourage people that are interested in supporting. It's not cheap, but it's for a good event and good food. It's like $500 for the award ceremony. That's dinner, champagne, and a gala. So
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage people to go to WashingtonElite.com.
Champagne toast. That's like my favorite bread.
Shipping
Here's
toast.
Bruce.
Champagne
So
toast. Man, you ever had a sandwich on champagne toast? Oh, it's good.
No.
It's good toast, man.
Yeah, I
If
bet.
you go to my Twitter channel, Amina Motala _ I did tweet a little short video of the mansion. You get a little sneak peek of the house there.
Right here.
Yeah. Oh no! Wait a second.
That looks like it's on the mansion. It looks
Oh, it
like the
might be. Yeah.
balcony of it.
Okay. I'm trying to think if it's the whole.
Yeah, because didn't he had a room there because it's a hotel.
There we go. Yeah. There's a little bit more. That's in the bathroom. Look at that. It's not really my style. Like I
look.
personally.
A bidet.
Oh, I wouldn't want to stay there.
Would
I
live
like the
simpler
place,
than
but I
that,
wouldn't
but-
want to stay there
No.
by no means.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, I have not checked the
Look at this
comment
room.
section
And
yet.
this bed is like the size of 2 king beds put together. I mean, it's enormous. Oh, I didn't show it there.
The artwork and stuff is just crazy. That where the pool is
Mhm.
so beautiful. So I definitely would encourage people to make
And
their way
there's-
out.
That's where we had the gala down below.
Yeah, this is the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned it into like a restaurant and hotel
That's right.
right across the street from the beach, right on
Nice.
South Beach. And it used to be right beside Pitbull's restaurant, but Pitbull no longer owns that restaurant. So
Right. Yeah.
So-
So that's going to be fun again.
very cool. Very cool.
Mhm.
Let me go real quick and just check out the comment section. I appreciate everybody for joining us again. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button. If anybody's coming over from the BitBoy crypto around the blockchain, I appreciate you tuning in. We got 416 Bitcoin, Andy Lee, good seeing you. Glenda, thanks for joining. Jonah Curie, thanks for joining us. Gulag is in the house. Let's see who else we got. We got Mr. AKA Action in the house. Good seeing you in the
Nice.
house.
Hey.
And looking forward to talking to you after I get back from Florida. Someone was commenting Chinada. I guess that's how you.
Yeah,
pronounce it.
China. When she was
Canada.
talking about Canada.
So yeah,
I
she's
thought that
going
was
from.
pretty funny, man.
It's like going from hot weather to cold weather. It's going from Canada to Florida, which is like the complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Totally. Like right now, I think it's like -30. We were talking to some family back home, and
But
it's like
but
minus
Florida's
30
so
back.
free, and Canada's like. I'm not
Wait a
even
sec.
gonna be. I'm
When
not
I
even.
say-
I could do a whole episode on Canada.
Chris, when I say -30, that's Celsius.
What?
Yes. -30 Celsius.
Wow. No one
No.
left Florida.
Yeah.
She left Canada and temporarily staying in Florida. So she's
Isn't that
being
like
very
80
smart.
below or something?
Yeah, it's
What's up,
really
Paul?
crazy, stupid cold. Like
Wow.
if you're outside for too long, your skin will frostbite.
My blood of my blood. I am Welsh and Irish, so good seeing you in the house, Paul Morrissey.
So I don't miss it. Like I'm enjoying the Florida weather.
Yeah.
Lovely. I'm loving it. Today was
seeing you,
like
Linda.
a typical fall day for us in Canada, like today here, which is pretty much their winter right now here. So I mean, you can still wear a t-shirt. So it's
Yeah, my air conditioner kicked on today.
oh wow.
What how hot is it at your place?
It was 76. So it's not like
Okay.
hot.
No.
Well, that's
But, yeah.
about kind of where they're at right now, kind of in the low 70s.
But I had the air on like, I think it's like 71 or 70, 73. And today it was like, it kicked on. I was like, are you serious? Middle of January. All right.
Nice. Yeah, I know, dude. It's crazy because here today it was like high 60s in North Carolina, and we're calling for snow on Sunday.
Yeah. Been
I'm
weird.
hopefully going to miss it because my flight's early in the
Oh.
morning, and so far there's no effect on it.
Oh good.
So
You'll
far,
get to
So I'm paying
escape for a little
attention.
while.
yeah.
No,
So
but
okay,
okay.
we're going to try to go ahead and get to these news pieces. We try when we can to start off with a good feel-good news story. And I thought this was actually a really cool story. So you got one lonely Bitcoin miner happened on his computer, happened to actually confirm a block and get the block reward for that.
Nice.
Which I think was 6.25 Bitcoin, which is like $260,000, I think at the time. Yeah, 6.25 and 260,000. What's really crazy is he had 126 terahash in computer power, and this is the percentage of what he had in the miner. Why did this pop up? The miner control. You can see how much hash power he had, and what this is the percentage of what he had on the network. So for him to actually be able, as one computer, to be able to confirm this block is, I've never heard of it.
That's a lot of hash power, though, dude.
That is.
That's a lot of hash power. Jeez.
What, the 0.0000?
126 terahash?
Yeah,
That's
but I'm saying this is how much of the network that is. It's not even a fraction. It's like a small fraction of 1%.
Right.
You know, it's 0.40 and a 73% of the actual total Bitcoin hash rate. So I mean, normally you're seeing these mining facilities with a crap ton of ASIC miners being the ones
he's
that
still
get
running
rewards.
like probably at least 7 ASICs for that, if not 10 or 12, unless he's running the super new ones. But that's still amazing.
So
that's what I think.
I have a question. It's going to be a simple one, so maybe others who don't understand may understand better. If he's going to make 6, you said 6 Bitcoin, how long is he going to run those 7 ASICs for to get that?
Knowing that he's probably not going to get another block, if I was that individual, I would just stop while you're ahead, because otherwise he's just wasting electricity, because who knows how long he was actually mining. And how
you
much
still make money with your miners on, like you still make profit. It's just you make profit from the network, but that's a whole different thing,
right?
What are the odds of him making that happen?
1.3 million odds. It says it beats 1 in 1.3 million odds.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's basically kind of like, you know, the odds of winning the lottery,
right?
I mean, again, I just thought it was cool. I definitely would not encourage the everyday individual to go and start trying to mine Bitcoin thinking that this is going to happen with them, because this is the first time I've heard about something like this.
Got to be in it to win it, brother. Yeah.
Now you can mine other potential cryptocurrencies.
Get those miners
and then trade them for Bitcoin and accumulate more Bitcoin. That's what I would say. Did you guys check out this news about Tonga trying to follow into El Salvador's lead by making a bill proposing to make Bitcoin legal tender?
That's interesting. More countries are jumping on board. It's very telling signs.
It's a small country, but
still, it's 160 some islands, which most of them are inhabited. So
but it's like 100,000 people.
Also,
roughly.
Tonga's like America, like a Canada,
right?
It's like America Light. You know, it's
America Light. Yeah.
Samoa, Tonga, they're all, you know, like Hawaii. They're very close to America.
Well, they have parliamentary systems like what you would see in Canada or the UK.
They do, because they talk about the process, the parliament process has for it to be passed, and it has to go through the Queen's press, which I thought was interesting. The whole Bitcoin, like even when I read that, you know, having it to go through the Queen's press.
We have
we're talking about Bitcoin, like
Lord Fusitu.
Yeah,
Fusitua.
He's a lord, so there you go.
He's a lord. He's a tribal lord.
So they're under the monarch.
Are they under the UK monarch?
Well, I don't know.
So is he a lord for the United Kingdom?
Well, I don't know. Like,
well, they're a Pacific Island nation.
To His Majesty for royal assent. So, who's the Majesty? Because there's a king apparently,
or a governor. If they're under the UK.
Oh well, yeah.
I don't know. Is the rock Tongan or Samoan?
I believe he's Samoan,
Okay.
or his family is Samoan. I don't believe he was born in Samoa to call him, and his dad is African American or black, depending on how you want to say that one.
He's not. He's from Africa. He's not African.
Everybody are, yeah, I know, but I talked to black people who were like, they don't even like the term African American because
No.
there's no such thing as an African European, an African Russian, an African
Or
German.
just if you're just in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
if you're Jamaican, you're not African at all. There's
But
no,
your descendants were. You originated from there at some point in your history, family history.
but nobody calls Americans,
Okay, so Tonga.
Europeans.
Tonga is a constitutional monarchy whereby the king is the head of the state and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Tonga's prime minister is currently appointed by the king from among the members of parliament after having won the support of the majority of the house. So it looks like they're on their own. They're not part of the crown.
Well, here's something interesting. So there is a king.
The British High Commission in Tonga closed in March 2006. So maybe they had some sort of expiration and they're no longer involved.
Well, here's a little story. So there is a king, and I think the hierarchy of this king ranks quite high, because the Queen Elizabeth, back in her early days of reigning, had actually visited this king. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I should know it. And I say that because my stepfather knows him, because he was an ambassador to Somalia and he's Ethiopian. So he actually met this king. But the Queen Elizabeth, when she visited him with her husband, she bowed to him. And the Queen doesn't bow to anybody. So what tells me that he ranks higher than her for her to bow to him. And apparently Ethiopia, this is some sacred ground in Ethiopia, even more so than, say, like Machu Picchu from Peru.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure of the history of that, but I'm just hearing about all of this. Now, my stepfather, because he was ambassador for so many years, and he was awarded an award from this king, and he won't speak anymore with everything going on the planet right now. His lips are sealed. He won't say anything. He doesn't talk.
Wow.
I can't ask him anything. Yeah. He won't say a word. So I don't know what he knows. I don't know what this king is all about. And apparently somebody messaged me about a little bit about, where is it? Ethiopia. They hold the Ark and it can't be colonized. Their mountains were carved by Titans, Holy Land.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting things when it goes into Ethiopia. I mean, they have their Coptic calendar. They have different books in the Bible that aren't included in the King James, including the Book of Enoch. They claim to have the Ark of the Covenant without really having any actual proof. So I mean, it's interesting when you start thinking about some of the complexities of some of these nations. And
well, just kind of interesting with the Queen bowing to him. It says a lot.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Right?
No, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
And aside from this, I didn't, because like I said, there's so many news stories. I mean, just another mention when we're talking about El Salvador and Tonga is you also have Rio de Janeiro is following in Miami's footsteps and taking 1% of their treasury reserves and investing that in Bitcoin, and then also offering a discount, not a huge discount, but a discount, and allowing for Bitcoin to pay your taxes. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And
that really shows that they want to get their hands on as much Bitcoin as possible.
Right. And then if we can see someone like Brazil follow in the footsteps of an El Salvador, because El Salvador is a small nation with, I think it has the highest per capita murder rate. Tonga is a small nation.
Not anymore.
Something like Brazil. Okay, but it's still what, number 2? So Brazil though, they have by they're ranked number 12 by GDP in the world, and as far as their economy, and they're the 8th in purchasing power. So imagine if Brazil was to make Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies.
They're the financial powerhouse of South America. They are by far the leader of any country. Their GDP and all is a little less than Texas, but it's still really impressive.
No, it definitely is, man. So I mean,
Yeah.
it would be interesting, because with the idea of inflation taking place, what it's doing is it's affecting other nations. Like if you look at what is happening in Turkey with the it's not hyperinflation quite yet, but it's high forms of inflation.
Yeah.
So they're actually going to the US dollar in digital forms via stable coins, which you talked about last week. But it's really interesting. So I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what takes place with the dollar this year, what happens with the Fed, how much it's destroying the rest of the world, to see if we can, because I mean, we obviously know that South America is not, a lot of the nations are not like supported by the IMF and the ideals. Like, we want you to be a part of the club. They're a part of the club by default, but they're not a nation like Brazil that, like,
I think if Brazil moves that does that, I think it's over for South America. That's it. It's all. I think the rest, all of the countries will just fall in line,
except for Venezuela and any communist ran country, unless the Venezuelans can get rid of their governance models that they have and replace them, which would be great.
And I mean, if it moves as far as Mexico into North America, that's like an economic powerhouse, man. That changes the scope of this hemisphere.
Does. Plus, Mexico is part of the UMCA agreement with the United States and Canada, so that's that would be very interesting.
I had to plug my
which I
in.
own the agreement to, the copyright, by the way.
What is that?
That's a whole other story.
What did you say?
Yeah, did you own the copyright to Mexico? What did you say?
To the agreement, the UMCA, what's it called again? I don't even know, and I own the agreement. UCMCA or UCMA agreement. It's a copyright. So there's a glitch in our system where you can go in and buy the copyright, and if it hasn't gone on the Queen's press yet, you can go in and buy the copyright for whatever has just passed, let's say, or if a bill just passed, which I own Bill C4. It's another bill. So when I worked with Norman Traversy, he discovered this, and so we went in and bought all kinds of copyrights. It's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. But it's all fake, in my opinion. The way things are set up in so many ways, and and when I say fake, it's just, why is it that I can go in and do that? And when you see how things are structured, how countries are structured, as we know, they're corporations, right? So this is all contracts and corporations and not countries. Anyway, I don't know what I could do with it, to be honest. I have it, I own it. I don't know what power I have with it, but
that's interesting. I have to check in to see what that is. I have to look more into it.
It's in the Canadian website. You can, or in our government system, you can find your way in there and buy all kinds of copyright. So if you like phrases, Bitcoin phrases or something, I can copyright and things like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's not really a lot to do with this particular story. This version of this article is more of a news piece, like a video that people can watch, but the title kind of says it all. You have Representative Tom Emmer, who's proposing a bill to prevent the Federal Reserve control of U.S. digital currencies, which would mean like a Fed coin or a CBDC.
Did you read what he said?
What, right here?
No, what he said. He put a thread out on Twitter.
Tom Emmer did
it all out, and it was very blunt. It was very impressive. I was surprised to read the words as he wrote them.
You were reading them as he wrote them?
Yeah, and then the last he ended the thread. You can just read that last thread. It is it's like we have to basically it's like they have to chain the government and only do things like for freedom and liberty. It was good, man. It was really good.
I'm scrolling down trying to find it.
Was it a reply or a tweet?
What do you think is actually going to come of this, though? Do you think that this is going to make any headway?
I hope so, but I mean, it's like everything else. It's us versus them on this. There's a powerful forces of evil that want to stop this, We went over it on World Blockchain Roundtable on yesterday. Really?
Okay.
Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So
Let's see here. I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, at the same time, though, I mean, if something like this was to go through, then they could simply, which I don't see it going through, but they could simply issue a digital currency through the Treasury. But that would bypass and eliminate the need for the Federal Reserve, and hopefully we'll get to that point.
well, I was thinking that, and I think I made that point on the show yesterday. That's because we both think that was kind of Trump's plan, was to bankrupt the Fed and to put everything under the Treasury.
That's what a lot of people were assuming. Yeah.
So this is kind of a
assuming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all to be seen and heard yet, right?
The Fed does not and should not have the authority to offer retail bank accounts. I agree, and that's what's in the Banking for All Act. Regardless, any CBDC implementation by the Fed must be open, permissionless, and private. This means that any digital dollar must be accessible to all, transact on a blockchain that is transparent to all, and maintain the privacy elements of cash, which you would obviously lose in a digital format. And that, even as a big proponent of cryptocurrencies, I am not for removing cash from
Who's
society.
running the Fed right now? Because it's a private entity, as we always.
Jerome Powell is, but they're elected by government officials, mainly the president. I mean, I think Biden just put somebody in on one of the different governor positions because they're different governors. Jerome Powell is, but now one of the things too, if obviously a lot of this stuff kind of gets covered up by our mainstream Ministry of Propaganda. I'm using that from Gregory Mannarino. I think that's a good way of putting it. The Ministry of Propaganda, or what they call news. You're not really seeing information being put out on the news in regards to some of these things that are very effective against some of these kind of things. So it's interesting to see what's going to take place. But not only was it Jerome Powell, but other officials, governors of the Federal Reserve were caught doing insider trading. You have Nancy Pelosi, who's been caught insider trading, but yet you're not seeing anything come of it. You're not finding any angry Americans, where you have somebody who's technically supposed to be a public servant that's using information, especially in the case of Pelosi, where she's regulating these industries and then investing in them. That's a complete conflict of interest.
Oh, there's so much crookedness.
I think the biggest reason for everything is the collapse of journalism. I mean, journalists were so important, dude. They were so important to our republic, man. And we screwed them up. We turned them into actors. The Ministry of Propaganda. They were the police of the government. They were the truth seekers, and then they held people's feet to the fire. And now they're not. They're just all of them are actors. They're not even journalists.
People used to care about morals and values, and it's as if we're rewarding people for being dirty and underhanded. It's it's not cool. Not that there needs to be a lot of discussion on this. I just want to notate that Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the guy who is well known for insider trading, is set to release a digital currency report, which kind of coincides with the next news story of the IMF. The IMF is saying crypto maturity comes with increased financial stability concerns. So basically, as you're seeing more adoption of cryptocurrencies, more retail, more institutional investors, people accepting cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, it's now being looked at as it could be a potential threat to fiat currencies. And before we talk about anything, I've got a video clip that I love sharing because to me it's like the best endorsement of decentralized cryptocurrency. So I want to go ahead and play that real quick.
Very nice.
And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency, because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency, for destabilizing nations, perhaps starting with small ones, but going much larger. So when we think about this new environment in which we find ourselves that we've been discussing for the last some minutes, we can't just think about nation states.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I just
Sean
think it's
C said Chairman Powell acts like Chairman Mao.
yeah, I saw that and I had to highlight it. I'll highlight it again.
Yeah, those smaller countries and moving into big ones. I mean, El Salvador looks pretty destabilized. So it's so destabilized that one of the biggest countries is going to adopt their plan. Yeah.
The sad thing with Pelosi is she's one of the top insider traders on a hill making tons of money, but still can't get normal looking eyebrows. Actually, you know what I saw? I saw somebody doing a video talking about I saw Michael talking about Michael Jackson's recent television appearance, and they were sharing Nancy Pelosi saying it was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Lisa sent me something about the Thriller video, but that was I need to. She like at the beginning of it says that he didn't endorse the occult, and they used to play that when we were kids. It was always there, but I think they quit playing it. But she saw it come up, so she thought it was really weird. But I saw a graph of like all the top earners in Congress from what they've made through stocks, and Crenshaw actually made more money than Pelosi, like by a smidge. But
it's always interesting too how when they first start off and they come in, they don't have a lot of money, and towards the end of their terms, there's a ton of money in their bank accounts.
Oh, and then when they're done, there's a lot more because they get to go be advisors or work for some of these companies they've done favors to, or go do speaking events where they get paid like $300,000 to go talk.
Trudeau is making so much money with COVID; it's ridiculous. It's disgusting. I think he's got 400 times the amount of vaccines, or 400,000 times the amount of vaccines necessary than what we need, and he makes a kickback on each one. So of course he's getting kickbacks. Wow. That's what they do.
I haven't seen this video that Rhodes is asking about, but I will check it out. I know what you're talking about. I just haven't had a chance. I'm preparing for my Miami trip. So
well, it's really weird that they don't have to just explain how I make $200,000 a year or $180,000 a year. And in 4 years or 8 years, I have, $100 million. It's obvious, but there's so many things that are obvious, and just like we're talking about, people just kind of, that's the way it is. Those bastards.
It's just the way it is. Yeah, and it's time to start standing up and doing something to change it.
It'd be nice to have a nice transparency ledger on all of this shit that goes on, right?
Well, that's kind of what Representative Emmer was saying, that we don't need a private blockchain. We need to have this in a permissionless way so that everything can be transparent and we can view everything, because there is such thing as a closed, centralized blockchain that's not permissionless but permissioned. So in USDT in that case would be in that category, because it just recently, and that's another news story that it just was amongst the many, they were actually, they could freeze funds. Tether themselves can freeze funds, thinking if those funds are being used for illicit activities, they have the capability because it's a centralized entity. It's an open blockchain, but it's technically permissionless, but they have control with the admin keys and such. So
yeah, that makes sense, and it has great use. We need that in our world.
The next story, which is kind of cool, and we talked about this on BitBoy, it's around the blockchain today. Ripple scoring a win in a lawsuit as the judge rules the SEC must surrender the Hinman emails on Ethereum. And what this is in reference to is, since they are being sued, charged by the SEC, however you want to put it, for securities violation and XRP being a security, since Ethereum and Bitcoin have been stated as not being securities. Hinman was the one who came out and said that Ethereum is not a security based off of all the research they did from the time that it started with the ICO to where they are now. And it's starting out more centralized and becoming more decentralized. So Ripple has been awarded by a judge to be able to access these emails so that they could try to do like a comparative side by side using precedents that was set with the Ethereum case to try to say that XRP is not a security. Now, my argument with that is I have to look at my notes very specifically on this, but XRP owns in a escrow. There's 46.5 billion of the 100 billion tokens are locked up in escrow by Ripple Corporation. Ripple itself has 5.8 billion. So between the two numbers, that's like 52%, over 52% of the supply. Plus you have like 125 or 150 plus validator nodes versus Bitcoin, which has 12,000, and Ethereum over 12,000, and Ethereum over 11,000. So I'm not really sure where the decentralization comes into play, and that's a big part of the Howey test, because you can't have a centralized entity and it not be offered as it would have to be a security in that capacity. So the only reason it wouldn't be able to be a security in the case of what happened with Ethereum is because they say based off enough time they've decentralized themselves. So what do you think about it, Sean?
I think Ripple's, or XRP's centralized,
Yeah, but do you think that they would be able to, even having the precedence with Ethereum, do you think they're going to be able to be successful with using the Ethereum argument to win this case?
I think they will. I think Ripple's gonna, I think Ripple's gonna come out winning everything. Maybe they'll get a fine, but it'll be like in a plea where the SEC, like, just to save face, everything that they fought, I think they won on.
I think it'll be a closed deal.
Yeah.
So that if they're not deemed a security, it's by having it closed and sealed, it doesn't allow for another crypto company to use XRP's example as a precedence, kind of like what XRP is trying to do with Ethereum.
I disagree, and I agree. I think it'll all be done behind closed doors because the SEC doesn't want to get a black eye. But I think that it will set precedents. I think they'll be like, hey, we don't want to look like we've completely lost here. So we're going to make a deal. We'll, you get us this fine. We look like we've done our job. And this is going to set a precedence.
What do you think, Amina?
I tend to agree with Sean. I'm leaning towards exactly what he's saying. So far it's a lot of negotiation, but if they were really to find something, I would think it'd be done for them by now. I don't know.
I mean, now from a devil's advocate perspective, if let's say they had already come to a determination and are deciding to kind of play like a play and letting something play out by keeping this situation, I kind of feel like with what's going on with XRP and the SEC, it's holding the bear market from really doing what it's supposed to do. And once the XRP case is settled and it's off to the races for XRP, they get to go ahead. They know they're going to be working with the banks. Everything's going to look good for them. It should pick up the rest of the market. And that's when I think that we'll see the tail end of this climax of this bull run.
So you think there's another reason for such a delay?
Helping to keep manipulation going.
Right.
Helping to keep the price throttled so that more institutional investors can get involved, which is what we're seeing a lot of. And you're seeing a lot of wealthy people like Paul Tudor Jones and Ray Dalio and all these different individuals that are putting up a couple percentages of their wealth. And we're talking somebody who has, multiple billions of dollars, 1 or 2%, it's like $400, $500 million. crazy insane. So I mean, that's kind of been my take on it. I'm not a huge fan of XRP because I don't feel like it's decentralized. I've had the argument with people over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm not going to keep having it. But if you have possession of more than 50% of your supply, I'm not sure where the decentralization comes into play. Anything else that just kills it for me. It's like someone saying that Solana is decentralized, but yet you can turn the blockchain off. So it's just crazy. I do look forward to seeing what happens because I do feel like it's going to kick the market off. So we got two more stories. I didn't really even read this one because I really despise this individual. I'm not going to say I hate because that's a strong word, but I have strong dislike for this individual who the only thing I'm impressed with him is when he gets drunk, he talks about his own coin being a shit coin and being worthless, which I appreciate the honesty when he drinks.
He did that one time, man.
That's all you need to do.
I actually gained a lot of respect when I was researching that video I did because he's a chameleon, but he is like whatever crypto is, he is that. And during the time of the ICO and everything was hype, everyone's like, well, you love him or hate him, he's a good marketer, he's a great marketer. And that's what crypto was, man. It was all about marketing, it was all about hype. And that was what he did. And now crypto's the sphere is much more sophisticated. He's pulled out of working on crypto projects. He's been a citizen of Grenada, and he's now officially the Grenadian government has made him the ambassador to the World Trade Organization.
When I hear Grenada, though, I keep thinking about Tropic Thunder.
What?
When Robert Downey Jr. is talking about, damn it, I was in Grenada.
Yeah, but I think it's crazy, man. The only thing that make it better is if it was John. If McAfee was the ambassador to the World Trade Organization, that would be, perfect.
I just feel like he's in the pocket of the Chinese government, man. I feel like there's more nefarious purposes to it than anything else, man. In all honesty, and I'm not a big fan of the communist Chinese government at all.
Oh, what a radical view to take! But I think he personally was trying to get out of under the thumb, and that's why he's been a citizen in Grenada. Because they crushed him. He bought that lunch with Warren Buffett. He was Mr. Look at Me, and the government, they crushed him.
Well, he at the same time, I don't know if you remember this or how well you did your research, but he got Tron got like bailout money, stimulus money from the government, the United States government.
Yeah, they did.
And they're technically a Chinese company. They just have a home base in San Francisco, supposedly.
Yeah.
So and he's like bragging to people about how he got U.S. bailout money. I'm not a big fan. So
a little shady. Yeah.
And this dude looks shady anyways. This Oliver Joseph. He needs to do something with those dark eye bags because he looks really scary. He kind of looks.
He does look scary.
He looks like he could have some Zulu paint on and like spear me to death. I want to stay intact. Maybe that was the wrong comment to make. I don't know. I'm a racist.
Racist.
That's what some people have started coming up and saying. I think that's an awesome term. I will try to get we're going to have time, Sean, to get that one story in. I just don't have it linked down below. This is the last article that I had linked. Just kind of cool. You're seeing that 70% of the U.S. crypto holders started investing in 2021 per this report. So it just shows that more people are taking interest because I can tell you when in 2017, we weren't seeing numbers like this. So it's impressive. So what do you think about this, Mr. Sean?
I'm just sad. Crypto Blood said Crypto Cutie, and I was talking about me, but it's talking about Amina. I think it's cool. I think that 2021 we saw such a massive move of with Doge, that just, and then SHIB, it brought in droves, and also a lot of the institutions, they came in full force, and it's still, and I always am the wet blanket man because everyone's like, we're so early, we're not that early anymore, dude. Everyone knows about crypto. we've come to another point. We're at the end of the beginning at best. We're not on the dirt ground floor. We are in the lobby. Okay. So we're still very early at all, but we're not, to where nobody even heard of Bitcoin. It's so widespread. But I think that we can do this again next year. I don't think there's going to be a problem with 2022 bringing in another, the same amount of people or even more.
Well, especially if if the U.S. dollar just craps out, people are going to need a parachute to jump off the plane with. So they're going to make sure they're protected.
And that's something that, like, the mayor of Miami, and when they're talking about their pay, they're talking about putting their money and getting paid in something that they think will hold its value. I mean, they're talking about the basic stuff that nobody talks about, that's not on the news, that what real inflation is, what it's doing. And I've said this forever, inflation isn't real. There's no such thing as inflation. It's the devaluation of your money. It's not like those things cost more. It just takes more of your money to buy it.
Right. I know, but if they use that term devaluation of money, people wouldn't be real happy about it. So if you say inflation, they just start thinking about balloons, and it's like, oh, I like balloons.
Because
I like red balloons.
That's because they've used these words in
I like blood-colored balloons.
The vocabulary, it suits the vocabulary, so it suits the people. But we're not taught correctly.
No, we're not. No, take balloons.
The what?
What?
I said, no, take balloons.
Oh, why don't you sing it? Why don't you sing it in the Deutschland, in the mother tongue, man? Sing it in German.
No, take balloons, which actually translates to 99 balloons. They don't say red balloons. It's not in it. The red is rot. It would be
red is rot. I never knew that. No. You just blew my mind, Sean.
I know.
I had to learn German just so I can translate that song properly and see if you're correct. I'll go ahead and throw this up. I appreciate the Volt Inu Army. Not a huge meme boy fan, but definitely appreciate the support.
It's 99 lift balloons, which is like a balloon that flies.
Luft balloons?
Yeah, like the Luftwaffe. Those are the Air Force.
Right. Yeah. Luft. Again, I appreciate the super chat. So many different meme coin projects, so many different Inu projects. I'm not sure about Volt Inu, but I definitely appreciate the support. Thank you. So yeah, the other article, and this is the last one we'll end things with. Again, like I said, there were so many different news articles. I'm sharing something on Jack Dorsey, and there's even another news story about him doing Bitcoin mining through the block, which is the renamed Square. So that's an additional story. But this story is talking about Jack Dorsey announcing a Bitcoin. And Amina, I didn't send this to you, so in all fairness, Amina didn't know about this story, so you're good if you don't want to comment. But Jack Dorsey's announcing Bitcoin legal defense fund to fight Satoshi Nakamoto. My only problem with the title of that article is that some beach, Mr. Dr. Craig Wright, Mr. Doctor, is not Satoshi Nakamoto. Whether or not he was a part of the group, whether or not he may or may not have written the white paper, he did not solely code Bitcoin. He is not Satoshi Nakamoto. So I'm so pissed off with just the name of this article. Yeah, Sean, what are your thoughts?
You're allowed to be.
Oh, I said that CMAZ sent me the article that I didn't actually find it. He sent it to me, which props to him.
Who did?
Chris Maz.
Well, thank you, Mr. Maz. Appreciate you. Is he in the house watching? Because normally he's here, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he's normally here. I didn't see him.
Yeah, unless he's just being quiet, like ripping some hits. I don't know.
Ripping some hits. No, he doesn't rip hits, man.
It was Nina. N-E-N-A.
It was Nina. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Was it about nuclear
I can
war?
definitely tell you that. I still have a crush on that one. Yeah.
Have you kept up with what she may or may not look like today?
Yeah.
Has she turned into a
No, she's really hot, man.
she's
a really hot older lady. She really is. Yeah. She's still ridiculously gorgeous, man. Yeah.
So basically, this article is talking about a legal defense fund in regards to Craig Wright's rapidly advancing legal campaigns. I've got to look into what Craig Wright is attempting to try to do. I know he's been patenting a lot of crap. Not sure if he's going to try to do something with, because I'm starting to learn a little bit more about patents now that I've talked to Reggie Middleton, and he's got this Aboriginal DeFi patent. And that's an interesting situation.
Cool.
People need to check out that interview that I did with Reggie because
I got to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
Technically, he is by having this U.S. and Japanese patent on peer-to-peer capital markets, which is distributed finance, which is decentralized finance, just not using those words. It would be like somebody trying to take somebody else's song and rename it, thinking that's going to be okay. And that just doesn't, I started understanding a little about international patent law. So
does he have is his platform a true decentralized platform?
That I don't know. I never really did a lot of research into all the specifics of Very, but there's a huge community. And what I will say is the community itself have formed a DAO. A Very DAO. A Very DAO. So I'm not sure.
A friend of mine, that mansion that's up for sale in Beverly Hills, the giant $500 million.
Yeah, I drive by it all the time.
It's great. You got to watch the Bill Burr where he talks about it. But it's up for sale, and the founder of Rivet, he's like, Sean, we got to start a DAO. We got to buy that mansion. So he's really excited to start a DAO and buy that mansion.
Do you know what Craig Wright is doing with this supposed campaign?
Well, he's Craig Wright. He's doing everything he fucking can.
Okay,
but
well,
I think it's really. I think one of the coolest things about this.
He should go ahead and sign. With this public key or private key, if he's Satoshi, he can prove it really freaking easy.
Why, man? Why does he have to do what you want to do? He's not about doing what you want to do.
Okay,
he's
but
rebel.
Wait a second.
Man.
If he proves that he's Satoshi, what does that mean? Like,
well, it
means
Wright
that
will be depressed. The first thing
I'll be depressed as hell.
Right? Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
that will be like, oh,
believing
man.
in that man's vision. That would be like
it's like finding out Mr. Rogers was a rapist. I mean, it would be really sad. It would be like, oh my God, really?
That's the most awful thing you can say about that pure-hearted man.
It would be like
pure-hearted. Okay.
It would hurt.
I love Mr. Rogers. Like I'm thinking if I got somebody to like pay me to do my show, I would have a Mr. Rogers set. I would come in through like a little door. I would take off my jacket. I would put on my little sweater. I'd take off my Doc Marten boots and put on my little slippers and just get to go around, sing and play with some trains and talk about some freedom and sovereignty.
We go and just dethrone the king in make believe land.
I did in an episode one time where I turned this off and then walked away, and kind of like an homage to Mr. Rogers, because everybody thinks this is like green screen, and
it does look like it, but yeah,
right.
It does.
They think that this is not a real sign.
You actually have a room. You're in a room. You have
this is like tapestry. I've got like cornered up on parts of my walls.
That's cool.
Everyone asks me.
This is Vesa. You guys know Vesa, the artist, the Bitcoin artist. This is
I don't do this very often. There's my wall, so you can see like this.
Okay, I'm trying to show mine, Chris.
I love Vesa's artwork.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
Well, that's cool.
Here, we're gonna highlight you. So show us.
All right, so this is Vesa's art, and I met him for the first time at the North American Bitcoin Conference in 2020.
Is there a face in the middle?
Where? No, I don't know. Is it
colonial soldier?
I think it is. I'm trying to get out of the way.
Bring it back big, man. Bring it back big, Rice.
He does a lot of really interesting.
Does anyone else see the colonial soldier's head in the middle of that thing?
He takes a lot of different collage stuff sometimes and puts them together, because he did a really cool piece with Kenny from South Park with these wings and Bitcoin eyes and stuff. He does.
It looks like a tri-cornered hat on a dude.
Right there looks like an eye. There does look like an eye where you point it the first time.
Right there. Yeah. You see the chin, the mouth, the nose, the eyes.
Yeah, I see it.
Dark hat.
He's from Finland. Sean knows all about Finland. He hangs out with Irish people who live in Finland.
Yeah. Not much anymore. He's busy.
Oh, is he outsource? He's still outsourcing everything.
Yeah, he is. He is still out for it.
That's genius, man. I gotta give him props on that.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's so funny, dude.
It's screwed up and genius at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into
Is that a gun, Sean?
oh, is
Huh?
that a question?
Do you have guns on your wall?
He has
Yeah, dude.
multiple.
I have like 7 guns around me.
He's got guns
Really?
at his feet. He's
I
got
have
guns
2
on the
guns.
desk.
I'm sitting on 2 guns. I have 2 guns because the box is perfect height for my chair, so they keep my feet up. I have
Nice.
a lot. I just
That's
got this
funny.
one last week. It's really cool.
He lives in Texas.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he goes around. I've mentioned this plenty of times. He goes to gun conferences and leaves with like toys.
Okay.
He's actually going to help run the John McAfee Memorial Conference. It's going to be a split crypto Bitcoin conference along with a gun show in combo.
Hey, when is that? What's that about?
It's going to happen eventually. It's
Okay.
going to happen.
We'll have to
the
talk.
John
Okay.
McAfee Memorial Conference, and it's going to be a gun show / crypto show.
Great. Oh,
Yeah.
They're not called gun conferences.
we'll have to talk because
What are they officially called there, Sean?
Gun shows.
Gun shows. Okay.
Yeah. So we don't go talk
gun
about
shows.
it.
Yeah.
Because you show your guns.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Amina, I really appreciate you joining us. I'll definitely be seeing you on Sunday. Got
Definitely.
links for your website and your YouTube channel. Before we let you go, do you have anything that you would like to add to today's conversation or let people know about yourself and your work?
Thank you for having me on your show. You guys are a lot of fun. Nothing much to say. I have kind of been a little quiet on my YouTube show, but I want to bring back a lot more crypto, bring it back into my scene, and that's about it. I do have a course, Bitcoin 101 course, how to get in, stay safe, invest, on my website, aminamotala.com or .io. Other than that, no, thank you again, and looking forward to seeing you in Miami.
Most definitely. And again, I would definitely encourage people to go subscribe to your channel. And if you're new to crypto and you want to learn about crypto, if you check out Amina's website, she has a crypto 101 course that you can check out as well, with some basic introductions, how to buy and sell, and become your own bank and take charge of your own finances.
That's it.
Beautiful. Well, I do appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to pop you out of the stream. You're more than welcome to just go ahead and just leave the backstage area, and I'll be in touch with you probably tomorrow to give you my ETAs for Sunday.
Okay, great. Thanks,
Good
guys.
to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Good
take care,
seeing
Sean.
you.
Good to see you.
Take care. All right, my friend. And
I want
there
to say
were
before
two.
we go about the article, everyone said, well, a lot of people said that Twitter's a piece of shit. It is. It's one of the worst pieces of shit when it comes to freedom and freedom of speech. And I really hated Jack Dorsey. I'm like, but then he would do things that were like pro freedom on the side, and everyone's like, it's the board, and I think maybe it's the board. Since he stepped down as CEO, and
I thought you knew that, and we discussed this because I'm not like I try to play devil's advocate as much as possible. When I was at Bitcoin 2021, a lot of people were talking about him and censorship, and I'm like, he is controlled by a board.
yeah.
And not only that, in the beginning of 2020, I think it was new investors that became on the board did not want Jack Dorsey to be the CEO of Twitter, and they were trying to push him out. And I feel like he had to compromise on some things to remain in position. And then at the same time, he talked about Bitcoin mining, talking about doing a decentralized Twitter with blue skies, starts doing this legal fund thing, starts the Bitcoin mining with Block, all these different things. Cash App is now adding Lightning Network. That was another news thing. There's so many fucking news stories this week, dude. It's like, That's what I was telling you, man. Like we would have to do a 3-hour show to actually do justice for this past week in crypto. It was that fucking insane. There was nothing happening
very
at the end
positive.
of December.
I think to end it on a really positive note, besides the Craig Wright, rape stuff, is that I think Jack Dorsey is a decent dude, man. I feel a lot better.
I don't feel like he's the devil like people are trying to make it out to be.
No.
some people are talking about this application. The only thing I'll say, and I mentioned this to a couple people that were telling me, hey, here's my Gitter profile. And I'm like, Gitter was a Chinese social media site that was utilized in the United States. All the backing comes from China. I'm not getting involved. I didn't get involved with Parler. I didn't get involved with any of that crap. I don't want to be pigeonholed and put into a echo chamber with a bunch of conspiracy theorists who don't think outside the box, who don't think for themselves, who are sitting here looking for a savior and can't take responsibility for themselves and make the change that they want to see in this world individually. They're waiting for someone else to do it for them, and I'm not going to support those platforms. So I just had to go off on that rant.
I'll support them. I don't give a shit.
You love China. You buy Chinese-made guns.
No, I don't. I buy Turkish-made guns mainly. Actually, I have bought a shitload of Turkish guns.
Do they even make guns in America anymore?
Well, they're so overregulated, and they're under threat to be sued by someone who uses them wrong and kills someone, or so they want to. They're constantly trying to pass legislation where you can sue a gun manufacturer. It's ridiculous. This is made in America.
I mean, okay. So if I go get a
North
surgery,
American arms,
I have to sign a waiver if something happens to me in surgery where I can't sue a doctor for screwing up, but they're going to allow to sue a gun manufacturer for. So it'd be like if I stab somebody with pencils, we now get to go after the pencil companies.
Oh no, that's silly. They don't want to ban pencils; they want to ban guns. But yeah, if like a school shooting,
let's encourage pencil violence and take away the focus on guns.
10 different parents can sue the gun company, even if that kid, if he got a gun from his dad that was his great grandfather's, like from the war, and got passed down. I mean, the ridiculousness of it is just, it's so stupid. But
Weird. All right, man. Well, do you have any final thoughts you want to add to today before we wrap up?
It's good hanging out with you, man. Love y'all. Follow us. Follow me. Follow Rice. Oh, also my code for Money Metals is just Sean.
That's not Satoshi Sean. My bad.
Just SEAN, Sean.
Okay. So yeah, you can get a free half ounce of silver. We talked about at the beginning of the show. I'll just throw this up real quick. And
Sean says gun extravaganza. That would be badass if we did have some kind of John Memorial.
Maybe that's what it would be called, the John McAfee Memorial Extravaganza.
Yeah, it was a conference, but like with a gun show.
Gun and crypto extravaganza.
Yeah, like guns on one side of the auditorium.
I would like to call it Money Shot.
And think of all now. There's now that's something I do push when I go to gun shows. Is I'm like, hey man, you take cryptocurrency? And they're like, what? And one dude, his son got into Bitcoin. He's like, no, I don't take it. But my son, he was in that Bitcoin. He was one of the miners back in 2010. And he got like hundreds and hundreds of them Bitcoin, or thousands. And then he got thousands of that other one. And then they gave him other free ones. I'm like, you mean Bitcoin Cash? And it's like, yeah,
there's a project. I'll turn you on to it if you're interested in learning more about it. But there's a project that
Tusk,
that works within the
I know.
industry.
I've been talking to him for years.
Okay, just wasn't sure.
Yeah, because it's so it goes hand in hand so perfectly, but then it's also so regulated. But not like I've whenever I buy stuff at gun shows, they're usually gun dealers. But you can go and have a booth if you're just a dude or a woman,
just a dude. If you're a people.
But I bought a gun and I was like, it's like $150. I gave him $150. So here you go. I'm like, well, I got to fill the form out. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, why? He goes, I'm not a gun dealer. There you go. I was like,
only in Tejas.
Okay. I was like, all right. But that's been one out of like 50 guns. So it's not really that common.
Normally, I don't book our guests ahead of time. I try to book a couple of days before, and I'm going to try to start booking a little bit more ahead of time. And we do have our next guest scheduled now. It's going to be Miss Litecoin Lisa joining us next Friday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. And Sean makes appearances on her channel as well, normally weekly or every other week.
Every other week on Tuesday. It's usually every other week because someone
Okay.
or every week because someone's been sick, so I
Right.
fill in.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody for joining us. If you did not check out that episode of Around the Blockchain, I got to be on with Tom Crown, Naomi Brockwell, and Crypto Crow, and it was a really good episode. So I encourage people to check it out. I will be sharing it on my Odyssey channel and library. So if you're not following me there, make sure you do so. You know, I was thinking about this. You don't have an Odyssey channel, do you?
No.
You know, you need to go sign up to Odyssey, and you can sync your YouTube videos where they all will transfer over there for you automatically.
Yes, it's a little odd. I don't have an Odyssey channel.
And I thought you did. And I think I said it a couple times and you never corrected
You have
me.
said it. Yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah, I'm just going to let people look for it. It's not going to be there. That's how I roll. I love you, dude. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're out of here. It's Friday night, going to Miami on Sunday. Got lots of cool content coming out next week. Check out Sean's channel. He's always got great content. Sean, hold on for me 1 second.
Have a good weekend, y'all.
Much love. Holla.